What's the point of this? Lights out mode, so no flashlights. No killer-hated perks. And we had maybe 1 or 2 gens done, so the match was barely started. Legion uses their skill, wounds all of us, downs 1, hooks 1, and slugs the rest of us before we can even find one another to heal. Proceeds to just let us bleed out and hold us hostage. He even found us and just stood over our bodies, staring before leaving and finding someone else. Repeat. For what reason? We weren't toxic at all. No teabagging. Nothing. We just wanted to play the game after work. Is there any particular reason that would make someone do this, or was it just some jerk? So what people don't understand is that slugging is a playstyle. Just because someone's slugging you, doesn't matter if it's a game mode, doesn't matter if you have flashlights, doesn't matter. They can play however the hell they want. That's the thing. They can play how they want. It doesn't matter if it's a game mode, doesn't matter if you didn't teabag, it doesn't matter if you have no flashlights or perks. It's a game mode. They can play how they want. And let me just read this part. Legion uses their skill, wounds all of us, downs 1, hooks them, and slugs the rest of us. So, this guy's saying that Legion hit all of them with his ability, right? Downed 1 of them. Let's just say he hit all 4 of them, and then the 4th one he hit, he got downed with his ability. He hooked that guy. How did you guys get downed? How did the 3 of those guys, like, how did the rest of those 3 get downed? Because he never mentioned that the Legion went after them, right? So what I think happened, I think these guys didn't know how to mend, and they just all let themselves die on the floor. Because they never mentioned that the Legion went after them again after that. He just said that they used his skill, hooked 1, and then they all died. He's not giving enough information, because what it seems like is that he just, like, they didn't know how to mend. That's what it seems like. And then he said he even found us and stood over our bodies, staring before leaving and finding someone else. Now, if you see the progress right here, right? I'm sorry, but if I see someone at, like, even this amount of progress, I'm going to leave them slugged and bleed them out. Because think of all the things that could go wrong for you as a killer if you hook them. They could 4%. Sure, they might not. But still, they could. And you got to take into account the anti-camp is 32 meters instead of 16 in this game mode. So they could just easily get off without the killer even knowing. And, like, why would you pick up? The bottom guy has the highest progress, and it's like under, this is half. Let's say this is half. So this is probably 1 minute and 40 seconds until he bleeds out. At that point, I would just wait, because 2 of them are 0 strikes. They could easily 4%. Sure, there's a chance they might not, but there's still a chance that they could. So at this point, I would slug 2. And I mean, again, based off of what this guy is saying, they don't know how to mend. So this is their own fault. They should have mended. Now, this first one is what I saw, and I was just like, bro, what? So, just to be a dick, basically, some people are unable to let out their unsettled hormonal rage and choose to do so by being rude to random, unrelated people on the internet. Look how many upvotes this got. That is sad, man. So, this guy's saying the reason the Legion slugged everyone and bled them out is because they have unsettled hormonal rage, and they're being rude. Now, let me just say, playing a certain way does not mean anything, bro. This guy doesn't have unsettled hormonal rage. He slugged them because they clearly didn't know how to mend. And maybe they did mend, but he never mentioned it, so he can't get mad at me for assuming that he didn't know how to mend, because he never stated it anywhere. So I'm just going to assume he didn't know how to mend. But, yeah, and also, they said they do so by being rude. Slugging is not rude. It's a way that you can play the game, and it's effective. You can tell it's effective. If you don't want to get slugged, don't get down to begin with. There's no scratch marks in this game mode. Gens go by 20% quicker. You have lights now. This game mode is survivor-sided. Whether you want to admit that or not, up to you. But I know it's survivor-sided. As a survivor main, I can confirm. This game mode is very survivor-sided. Because it's 20% on a gen by yourself, which, you know, that's pretty good. It's not amazing. You know, it's not like the best in the world. But if 2 people get on a gen, that gen is probably... I'm pretty sure the gen takes about 30 seconds, since you both have the plus 20%. Like, I mean, that's just... You can't blame the killer, man. This game mode is survivor-sided. How did you all go down? It's a Legion. He would be hitting you and then leaving. There's no reason that you could be getting downed here unless you're just not mending. So don't blame the killer. Blame yourself. I hate that this is truth we must live with. It's not the truth. This guy is just spewing nonsense out of his ass because he's probably a Survivor main. I'm a Survivor main too, but most Survivor mains are babies and they cry. Whenever I make a salt video, I have only had 2 salty killers. Out of the 30 salt videos I have made, only 2 of them were killers. Every other one was survivors. And in my personal opinion, I think the game is survivor-sided. I like Spook and Jukes. I love him, you know. He says the game is killer-sided. That's his opinion. But me personally, I think the game is extremely survivor-sided. It depends. There's a lot of variables, though. It depends on if you get shitty solo queue teammates, if you're playing solo queue. If you're in a Swift, easy dub. Doesn't matter what map you are, bro. If you're in a Swift, you win. But yeah, in solo queue, it depends on how good your teammates are, because MMR is not very good in this game. I think we all know that. And it depends on the map you get. Which, you know, like, let's say you get Larry's. If it's like a Trapper, that's pretty good for the Trapper. If it's a Wraith, you win. Doesn't matter if the Wraith blocks a window, you could just go to another one. They're 2 feet apart. That would be just like, you win. Let's just see, though. Yeah, I had a Legion bleed everyone out on Hawkins the other night. Turns out it was a Twitch streamer, too.
Scintillating.
Scintillating gameplay. I'm sure the viewers were on the edge of their seats. I waited out of spite, and because I want my blood points. And then I block the killer and move on to the next match. So again, this is just survival. This is just survivor entitlement. Like the survivors, they can do whatever they want, They can do anything they want, and it's fine. If the killer slugs, though, if the killer camps, if the killer tunnels, it's against the law. And again, you're saying you had a Legion that bled everyone out. If a Legion is able to get all 4 survivors down, I'm sorry, but you're dog shit. You're just straight up dog shit. It's a Legion. It's not that hard to stay up. The only reason you should be getting 4-man down against a Legion is if you're not mending. And both cases so far have been Legions, so I think these people just don't know how to mend. And then he said, turns out it was a Twitch streamer too. Who the fuck cares? I'm a Twitch streamer. I play how I want. If I wasn't a Twitch streamer, I would still play the same way. It doesn't matter if you're a Twitch streamer or not. How you play has nothing to do with if you're a Twitch streamer or not. I don't know why people say this. They're like, oh, you're playing like that and you're a streamer? You're playing like that and you're a streamer? Like, dude, it doesn't matter if you're a streamer. You can still play the same way as if you weren't a streamer. It doesn't matter. And then he said, I'm sure the viewers were on the edge of their seats. Nice jab there. And then he said, I waited out of spite. How is that out of spite? Wouldn't you just wait it out normally anyways? Like, it's not out of spite. And I'm sorry, but why do people complain about slugging? Do you know how many perks we have? We have at least 4, and I'm sure there might be more than that. I'm not quite sure, but there's at least 4. We have Unbreakable, Exponential, No Mither, and Soul Guard. Those are the first 4 that come to mind. So you literally you can make an entire loadout about slugging if you want. Sure, you don't have to. Unbreakable used to be in the meta. Like 2 years ago, it used to always be in everyone's build. And I don't think it's changed very much, but people don't use it anymore. Stop complaining about slugging. Put on Unbreakable. Sure, most of the time when I put on a perk, I never get value out of it. But there's always like 1 in 10 games where I'm like, oh, I get to use it, and it saves me. So stop complaining about slugging. Run Unbreakable. Run Soul Guard. Run Exponential. I mean, the most viable one to run is Unbreakable, obviously. I wouldn't recommend No Mither unless you're doing a whole build around it, because it's No Mither. Soul Guard, they have to have a Hex, but still. And Exponential, you have to be in the range. But it's 100% quicker. Like, seriously. And Exponential, you can use it for everyone. If you put the boon down, they just have to crawl to the boon, and everyone can use it. Bring Exponential. It's probably one of the best anti-slugging perks in the game. Sure, they can kick the boon. They can. But again, this guy says he's on Hawkins. He could have put it upstairs. It would reach downstairs. That's 24 meters. It would reach. So the killer probably wouldn't be able to find it. And even if they did, you should run Unbreakable. Stop complaining about slugging. Like, it doesn't make any sense. I don't complain about slugging. When I get slugged for 4 minutes, I blame myself because, again, it's my choice. Whatever perks I bring, that's my choice. If I don't bring an anti-slugging perk, I can't get mad at the killer. It's my fault for not bringing the anti-slugging perk. So stop getting mad at the killer. Unfortunately, blocking doesn't actually do anything, at least regarding the matchmaking. What does at least have the messages, at least the messages, at least the messages. I don't know what the fuck this guy's talking about, but yeah, again, I even forgot about that part. But he said he blocked the killer. You blocked the killer because they played a way you didn't like, which, fair enough. You can block whoever the fuck you want. But I don't know why you're going and telling everyone about it. It's like, if you blocked someone, who the fuck cares? I don't give a shit if you block the person. No one cares. I kind of get it when they do it in... Here we go. I kind of get it when they do it in a normal game mode. Like Original Poster said. There are reasons like Sabo builds and flashlights. Even then, it's the most just to be an asshole. Even then, it's mostly just to be an asshole. But how miserable do you have to be to specifically play a limited time event and still act like a dick? Dude, I don't think these guys are grasping the reality. It doesn't matter if you're in a limited time game mode or the regular. Again, you chose to play the game mode. You chose it. Lights Out 2.0 is absolute garbage, and I'm pretty sure most of the Dead by Daylight community can agree with that. So I don't know why you're playing it to begin with, other than the challenges. But yeah, it's a video game. It's a video game. I mean, even if the Legion was doing it to be an asshole, which I know he wasn't, because do you know how hard it is for a Legion? He's an M1 killer, pretty much. Because he hits you with a slash, sure, but he's going to leave you. You have enough time to mend and heal back up. Like, he's pretty much an M1 killer. How are you complaining? If you all four went down to a Legion, again, you're dog shit. I'm going to say it again and again. You are dog shit. There's no reason that you should be going down, all four of you, to a Legion. No reason at all. It's like, dude, specifically play a limited time event and act like a dick. Again, not acting like a dick. He's playing the game the way he wants to. That's not playing like a dick. I could call the Survivor a dick for blocking me. Like, oh, you blocked me? That's toxic, dude. Like, you can just say anything's toxic anymore. Toxic, it doesn't even have a... It's not even a word at this point. People overuse it so much. I can say the same for the Survivor side. Claudette players, hiding in the borders for 10 minutes and a lot more. It's the perk of this community. They're all are toxic. It's the peak of this community. All are toxic. Dude. Explain what the fuck you are talking about! Someone hiding in a bush is not toxic. It's a playstyle. If they want to hide, they can hide. Just like slugging. That's not toxic. Sure, it's a little bit goofy to bleed someone out for 4 minutes, but they're not being toxic. That's not something toxic. If you die in a game and you message someone and tell them to kill themselves, that's toxic. People have done it to me. People have done it to Spook and Jukes. People have done it to other people all the time. That's toxic. Slugging in a video game, however, is not toxic. Not toxic. I know, it's a hot take, but it's not toxic. Miserable people enjoy making others miserable. So, I guess if you're slugging someone in a video game, you're a miserable human being. And apparently being slugged makes you miserable. I didn't know getting slugged was making my life miserable, because it's a game. If you get slugged in a game and you become miserable because of it, that sounds like an issue that you should sort out with your therapist. Oh my. I just read this one before, oh my god. I've met a few people in real life who said they like doing this stuff online, and needless to say, none of them seemed like happy, well-adjusted people. It's frustrating, but you aren't going to be able to reason with them. You shouldn't have to reason with them. It's a video game. They can play how they want. And on his own words, they said they like doing the stuff. They like doing it. They enjoy playing that way. So how are you going to say... How are you going to say that they don't seem happy? They told you they like doing it. Is that... I don't get it, man. And then he said you're not going to be able to reason with them. Like, it's a play style. There's nothing to be reasoned with. They can play how they want. To be honest, I've never seen the purpose of slugging. I might leave someone on the ground for a moment to get someone who's injured nearby and hook them both, but I more or less hook the person immediately. If I accidentally slug them, it's because I'm blind and I have no goddamn awareness, shake my head. But I'll probably purposely slug like that. It's so scummy, and being on the receiving end of it a lot, it's dog shit. So this guy's an idiot. I've never seen the purpose of slugging. The purpose of slugging is to apply pressure. Let's say all the gens are done, and you have no kills. You see an injured guy, you downed him. Would you immediately pick him up if he's like Death Hook? No, you would slug him, because if you pick him up and hook him, he's gonna insta die. They'll open the gate, and then you'll have a 3-man out. If you slug him and go after someone else, you could potentially get a 2K. And even if they pick that guy off the ground, he's injured and Death Hook. So even if they get him off the ground, you can immediately down him. That's the purpose of slugging, is to apply pressure. I don't know why people don't understand that. Slugging and bleeding out is asshole behavior. But there are legit reasons to slug in game. Okay, at least he admits it, unlike everyone else. It is the best counter to over-aggressive flashlights and annoying Swift strats. Thank you. He said it's asshole behavior. It's not. Slugging someone is not asshole behavior. Bleeding them out? Sure, you can consider that asshole behavior if you want. But as he said, there are flashlights in other Swift strats. Like, I mean, if you don't have Lightborn, what do you do if there's a person nearby? You could try to chase them, but guess what? When you're chasing them, the guy's going to get picked off the ground. What do? You have no option but to slug. If you pick up, you will get blinded. And especially if they're in a Swift, because there could be someone behind you with a flashlight as well. So even if you turn around and pick up, that might not be enough. It's happened to me multiple times. And with, Champion of Light and background player together, that's just insane. It is also a consequence of survivor mistakes. Again, he's actually speaking the truth. The only person in here who actually has a brain. Thank you. Survivors grouping up and wondering why they get slugged always makes me smile. My rule of thumb is if I see the next survivor, I chase them. Survivors had control over the situation and fucked up. Late game slugging is also a legit strategy. If there are more than 2 survivors left after all the gens have been completely slugging, is your only way to create more pressure to bring the game back. I do not, however, slug for the 4K. I'm generally content to play hatch. Very valid. Very valid opinion, honestly. I don't know, like, this doesn't make any sense. He said slugging and bleeding out is asshole behavior, but then he justified slugging. So I guess, so it's not asshole behavior is what you're saying. I don't know. He needs to make up his mind. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I know there's going to be people in the comments being like, wow, you think slugging isn't toxic? You must be an idiot of some kind. I can already feel it. I don't really care. Post your opinions in the comments below, and maybe I'll do another video reacting to those comments and reading them and saying my opinions about them. But yeah, I don't think slugging is toxic, and a lot of the things that those people were saying are absolutely ridiculous. Like, it's not holding the game hostage. It's not toxic. It's not the killer's fault either. It's your fault. They're not doing it to be assholes. Maybe some of them are. Maybe some of them are doing it to be assholes. But you're in lights out. How the fuck's the killer supposed to find you while you're crawling on the ground when it's pitch black? I mean, yeah. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see all of you in the next video. Bye-bye.